Running a country can be hard, but some of these presidents make it even harder for themselves. I'm your host Yusuf, welcome to Crime Time. These are the top 10 scary crimes presidents have committed. Make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell for notification whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's get presidential. At number 10, we have the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. President Truman allowed the use of nuclear weapons on Japan on August 6, 1945. He justified the order to release the weapons by exclaiming that it would end the war quicker and save more American lives. However, in hindsight, it was a very immoral decision to make. Within an instant, people, buildings, and infrastructure were instantly vaporized and reduced to ashes. The use of nuclear weapons was then included into the Geneva Convention. The same attack on a country now would be highly illegal. It would violate three major requirements of the law of armed conflict codified in Additional Protocol 1 of the Geneva Conventions, the principles of distinction, proportionality, and precaution. The Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons includes a comprehensive set of prohibitions on participating in any nuclear weapon activities. At number 9, John Adams. The second president ordered the prosecution of several newspaper editors under the Sedition Act, a law that was later ruled by the Supreme Court to be unconstitutional. Therefore, he arguably violated the US Constitution, the supreme law of the United States. Though Adams was a founding father of the United States' democracy, he couldn't take personal insults. In July 1798, he signed the Alien and Sedition Act that, among other things, made it illegal to write, print, utter, or publish any false, scandalous, and malicious writing or writings against the president and other executive branch officials. The alien part of the law allowed the government to deport immigrants and made it harder for naturalized citizens to vote. But the law was mainly designed to mute backers of the opposition Democratic-Republican Party led by Thomas Jefferson, who also happened to be the vice president. At number 8, President Andrew Johnson was impeached by the House of Representatives in 1868 during clashes with Congress over his post-Civil War policies, including his firing of Secretary of War Edwin M. Stanton. He was acquitted by the Senate. Impeachment is the process by which a legislative body or other legally constituted tribunal initiates charges against a public official for misconduct. The primary charge against Johnson was that he had violated the Tenure of Office Act. Specifically, that he had acted to remove from office Edwin Stanton and to replace him with Brevet Major General Lorenzo Thomas as Secretary of War ad interim. At number 7, President Bill Clinton. In 1998, President Bill Clinton was impeached by the House of Representatives for perjury and obstruction of justice related to his attempted cover-up of his relationship with former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The Clinton-Lewinsky scandal was an intimacy scandal involving then US President Bill Clinton and 24-year-old White House intern Monica Lewinsky that took place in 1998. Their intimate relationship lasted between 1995 and 1997. Clinton ended a televised speech in late January 1998 with the statement that he did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Further investigation led to charges of perjury and to the impeachment of Bill Clinton in 1998 by the US House of Representatives. He was subsequently acquitted on all impeachment charges of perjury and obstruction of justice in a 21-day US Senate trial. At number 6, President Richard Nixon was famously named by a grand general in 1974 as an unindicted co-conspirator in the Watergate scandal, but never charged with a crime. He resigned before an impeachment process could be completed and later was pardoned by President Gerald Ford. The Watergate scandal was a major political scandal in the United States involving the administration of President Richard Nixon from 1972 to 1974 that led to Nixon's resignation. The scandal stemmed from the Nixon administration's continual attempts to cover up its involvement in the June 17, 1972 break-in of the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Washington, D.C. Watergate office building. At number 5, the use of napalm on Vietnamese civilians. What distinguished Napalm B, the variant employed in Vietnam, was how easily it could be made. Simple bathtub chemistry was used to mix together a concoction of gasoline, benzene, and other things. In 1965, the Pentagon requested bids from the 17 US companies that made polystyrene. One of the winning bids was from a small company based in Midland, Michigan, called Dow Chemical. Dow was only ranked 75th on a 1967 list of military contractors before getting into the napalm business. It was best known as the maker of Saran wrap. But Dow soon became the military's sole supplier of napalm, which meant that when its use in the Vietnam War became controversial, Dow was the only corporate target. President Lyndon B. Johnson was the one responsible for allowing this to happen. The use of napalm against civilians is extremely illegal. At number 4, another crime committed in Vietnam by Lyndon B. Johnson. Well, really a series of crimes. Tribunal members unanimously found the United States guilty on all charges including genocide, the use of forbidden weapons, maltreatment and execution of prisoners, violence and forceful movement of prisoners in Vietnam and its neighbors Laos and Cambodia. The Vietnam conflict was notorious for multiple reasons. As the first televised conflict in history, the US was now able to be exposed for their violent and excessive means of destroying an opposing country. Many war laws were broken by the United States at the time, and they caught a lot of flack in the media. Number 3. In 1963, John F. Kennedy and his administration supported a coup against the Iraqi government, a coup led by Abdul Salam Arif. The CIA sent Arif a list of suspected communists along with thousands of weapons. Saddam Hussein was an enforcer of Arif's Ba'athist party and, as we know, later became the head of the party and dictator of Iraq. This means the United States President JFK played a massive role in the coming to power of the notorious dictator Saddam Hussein, the same person the US would later declare a war against and hunt down. Number 2. According to the 5 senior judges who tried Bush and his administration, President Bush was responsible for the countless civilian passings in the course of the conflict in Iraq. As Mahathir Mohamad put it once the trial was over, powerful countries are getting away with execution. In 2012, George W. Bush was convicted in absentia of being a conflict criminal by the Kuala Lumpur Conflict Crimes Commission. 7 other people involved in the Bush administration were also convicted. Additionally, in 2013, Bush and his administration were also sued by an Iraqi mother for violating the Nuremberg principles because of the crimes of aggression against the Iraqi people. Number 1. Though Roosevelt had an alliance with Stalin, when it became clear that the Allied forces were going to defeat Germany, he began to lose control over Stalin's negotiations. Stalin ended up with a good amount of Eastern Europe, and Roosevelt thought he could fix the problem with even more negotiations, which, as media publisher Cracked puts it, is about as advisable as trying to gamble your way out of gambling debt. Roosevelt went on to deny aid to Polish troops who were fighting against the Soviet government and suppressed a report that blamed the Katyn massacre on the Soviets. Those were 10 scary crimes that presidents have committed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.